starting the fourth turn here, got to remember these two. Reroll on influence means I want to make influence rolls. Reroll on trade roll. That's fucked up, actually. Because the trade roll can only happen during the end of turn sequence. Now, let me look at how the president is worded, because I had the feeling these could only be done the way it's worded, and this is why I got in kind of a minor dispute with the designer, was over the debt issue, was that it can only happen when the U.S. is taking an activity. And remove the disc when resolved. Okay, civil rights and economy can be used right away when rolled. I missed that. So I wouldn't have to do it then. But I could hold on to them, I suppose. Use that effect and remove the disc when desired. But here it's each box gives an effect that can be triggered once during the coming turn during the U.S. player's activity. That's very clear. Well, one that cannot... so the trade roll thing doesn't even make sense, right? Because the trade roll actually generates a trade good. If you re-rolled it at some other time, I don't think it would negate the trade. It has to be done during the end of turn phase. And the claim was these two had to be done then. I'm not sure I buy that. Again, from the wording, even though they may be done then, right? They can be used right away when rolled. There's strong reason why the U.S. wouldn't want to use them right away when rolled, and civil rights even more so. If I don't have unrest, let me leave that out there and fix things with that. It's a bonus out there. Again, the way he worded in our conversation that the economic choice has to be done during the end of turn phase, which is disadvantageous to the U.S. They almost invariably will want to hold off on that if they can and do it later in the turn. Leads me to wonder if civil rights also has to be taken during the end of turn phase, especially since trade almost essentially cannot be taken during part of a U.S. player's activity, and honestly can't be taken at the time you roll either. It can only happen at the time of the trade roll, I think. So again, I'm left with, hey, this wasn't really very well tested. And this goes beyond blind testing once you get to things like this. Somebody should have caught this unless the designer was holding their hand during the playtesting very much and making decisions. So yeah. All right. And again, I do not have a whole hell of a lot of faith that the game is ready for release. It feels like it needs about a year of development still. There's a lot to interest me here. I just am not seeing a releasable product. Okay. Of course, that's how Kickstarter works, right? We'll get it to you in X time and promise it'll be good. And, if something falls back, well, it's as bad to not release it on time as to release a product that maybe isn't fully complete. I just, the risk is on the wrong people. Okay, second Taiwan Strait crisis. Let's see. Inconclusive. U.S. deploys Sidewinder missiles and fighters to Taiwan, used immediately against PRC with samples captured for reverse engineering. Put a tech chip marker in China, making the Russians can steal that a little bit easier. What was the other side? The other side is China wins. Ha. Interesting. Okay, the third deck started. Blue, spies. All right, let's look around, see if there's any spies that I want to fire off. Counter spy right there. Might as well start. I don't see too many trade tech, or too many tech thefts, whatever. I'm in spy actions. 2 dice. I need a 6. I do not get one. Okay. I could do the same with that guy. Just add another die. I don't think it's worth it. Of course, the Russians can actually shoot him. They couldn't shoot me. So, I don't think this was worth it either. Another card. Monies. No clue what I'm trying to do anymore. Gotta think. Phase. I forgot about something, which is the Soviet capability to react to a coup. I did not do that. I want to make sure what I failed to do here. Again, a thing that's hard to remember. Doesn't happen all that often. It's not in the armies section, which is where I thought maybe it would be. It's not in the coup section. It's somewhere else. You know where I think it is? It's in the investments. Isn't it? It is. The stupidest ass place, because you're looking in a coup for, you know, what you can do in the case of a coup, and it doesn't tell you there. You cannot do this during investments. It's going to eat up fake money, like it's going to create debt, in the sense of you owe money. It can't be done on a money card. Yeah, that's absolutely in the wrong place. I wonder if they've moved that. So let's look at that rule. I'm going to go up and see if they fixed that, because if that didn't get fixed, I mean, that's like just blatantly out there as wrong. Can't find it. Suppress unrest. Targeting a communist country. No, that's not it. What are we on? Spies here? The rule book's so fucking... I'm looking for number 10. I'm looking for action number 10 here. And I'm in spies. Occupied marker. This is it. This can be used immediately after a coup is rolled for, even out of sequence when it is not the Soviet player's money card. Yeah. It can only be done out of sequence, essentially. I mean, yes, I guess it's possible during a money card you trigger a coup against yourself. I don't know how you do that. Take a money owed marker, place the occupied marker, and then resolve the coup, but resolve it with the occupation in place. Well, we could have prevented it from flowing over. We failed. I can't go back and fix that. Because I would have had to do that in both the coups. I don't know that I wanted to occupy places, but I probably would have, because that's a really dangerous situation. All right. Well, we're going to waste our time and go upstairs and see if the online rules... Yeah, I know. It's not fair when it's not published yet, you know. But yeah, we're going to see if the online rules have corrected this, more for your information than anything else, because I've got to deal with this thing. But it is important to see if they missed something that vital in this period. I mean, that's just, it's so clearly, if there's any structural changes to the rules at all, if it's not just tweaking a word here and there, that had to change. Structural change in terms of removing it from the money card, which clearly is just a ridiculous place to have this. But in addition, it's not referenced in the coup section in the new rules. I didn't check the player aids. I'm assuming they relate directly out of the coup section there. They seem to here. If anything, they just remove stuff. They don't have as much information. So, you know, and that's to be expected. So I'm just assuming, and I don't even think I have access to whatever, if these have been modified, or if any other components in the game have been modified. For example, I don't know, something like some kind of reminder of when you can play these, because they're all different, even though they're all worded the same, you know. Okay, and here I am still trying to figure out this U.S. money card. You know, the shame of it all is the game shows a lot of promise. It really does. You know, it really needs a lot more development work than it's got right now. Best bang for my buck right now is, I think, to throw an investment in France. I don't have a spy that can deal with that tax secret. Must have gotten killed. Maybe I want to do a spy because of that. Let's put a spy in France. Not the best place to have a spy, perhaps, but and an influence role in Turkey. I got +2 for investment. It is not my own color government, though. Not quite. That doesn't cost me my investments, at least. And now I can do my spying. When they tilt like that, I'm always a little bit like, should I be re-rolling? But I haven't been, and the tilt isn't that bad. The rule that a friend of mine used to have is, if you could stack another die on top of it, it's a good roll. Which is a nice roll, you know. I don't know. So now what I'm going to be doing is a secure secret on France. And we fail. Okay. Lack of consumer goods. That's just going to cycle. The Suez. I have no influence in Egypt, so I get no bonuses there. Pity. U.S. allows invasion. Place occupation in Egypt. That's a little non-historical. I've been kind of worried about Egypt, actually. And set to U.S. aligned. That's this, I believe. That's an influence cube. Add 2 Soviet influence within one of Iraq. Who adds that? I don't know. But not Egypt or Israel. U.S. can instead do this, remove all U.S. influence, add 1 unrest in UK, France, and Israel. Nah, well, we'll let them have their influences, because I'm more worried about Egypt than I am about these others. So who adds 2 Soviet influence? This is the interesting thing. It's a blue card, so I'm going to say the blue player does, but there is no ruling on this in the game. It should state Soviet player adds 2 or U.S. player adds 2, given the ambiguity, and I'm going to go with the color of the card. With a gray card, I let the player add their own. It's just making up rules on my own. Okay. So where does the U.S. want to put anything? It's within 1 of Iraq. You know what's within 1 of Iraq? Iraq. I'm going to make Iraq strongly pro-Soviet. There's some danger to that, but it's okay. This card goes away, no question. I'm beginning to fatigue a little already. There's only so much rant I got in me. And you know, I don't come to my stronger feelings without going into the rant. So it's like, if it wasn't upsetting me, if it didn't spike me enough to get my voice raised and me upset about the anger, I probably wouldn't be thinking as hard how big a deal it really is. I have to I have to sort of bring the emotions to the game to really understand how bad it can be. However you want to see that. Okay. Blue, money. Well, we're allowed to remove the occupation from Egypt. We failed in our influence before. What do we want to do? This is kind of dangerous. It's kind of what got us in trouble before. So I am going to take this out and put that investment in France that I wanted to do before. Spies. Yeah. Okay. The Red Army card. 6. Soviet has the choice to increase his conventional balance. Well, definitely not. Or gain a buck per space the track is decreased. I don't owe money. I don't know if putting a buck into the deck makes more sense. After this, I can place a free army into a civil war or place an investment adjacent to the USSR if advantaged or better. So I kind of like staying up here. I don't know that that buck is worth it right now. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the nuke track is in my favor, so I'd rather not fiddle around with that. I don't know when worker shortages happen. I did that last game. I guess one time decreasing the army allows you to prevent worker shortages forever. I don't know. More reasonably might be that the prevent worker shortages removed whenever this card is drawn every turn and recycles and gives you, a potential for a prophylactic against that for whatever it's worth. Okay. But, again, that's not spelled out. It's not handled completely enough. I almost feel like there's a fair enough number of cards that there needs to be a player aid that goes into additional details for the cards. Because there's obviously not enough room on here to go into that extra information. That's one of the problems with card-based event tables, as it were. They're more pleasant to play with. In some cases, they're going to need clarifications, and that is lacking here. The only place where there's anything like it is in that turn 1 playthrough, which doesn't include all the problematic cards, and doesn't include necessarily the problematic results on the cards that it does include. So, so what the hell am I doing? I think I'm going to do the after this, a free army into a civil war. I don't see any civil wars. An investment adjacent to the USSR. We can do that. Where do we want to put an investment? Feel like the biggest thing is to start fixing this. That is a problem we don't like. Soviet diplomacy. One investment. Well, here's the problem. This investment is cheap. But so is everything next to the... And the only thing that's not is over there in China. Soviet player may place one investment, one spy, and make one influence roll in any authoritarian countries. Each must be a different country. Okay. Where does the spy go? I don't know. This is the problem. Because I got 3 things. Investment goes here. We're going to make the most of that. Spy. Do we want the spy in... I don't know. Something showed up in China. That's kind of cool. I don't know if China is where I want to spy, though. I've already got one next to China. That's kind of... But it's going to take me a while to get that tech out of there. I don't know. mean, I've got a lot of coverage back here. Yeah, China's not authoritarian, but Taiwan is. All right, let's look at the tech table, see what shows up. I don't remember. Japan, South Korea, or Saudi Arabia? That's the set we can't really cover, and they'll be in Japan. South Korea or Saudi Arabia. South Korea does not get us next to. North Korea does. I don't know how useful that is. North Korea is not. Taiwan would be the authoritarian place that we could put it in. Are we running low on spies? I don't know if it matters. Yeah, let's throw a spy in Taiwan. All right. And now the last one is an influence cube. We could put one in Iran. We don't want to. Or in Iraq. In an authoritarian country. Well, Iran. No, they're not authoritarian anymore. They got that disc. Yeah, let's take Egypt away. Sounds reasonable. All right, time for a break. Oh, spies. Spies. Want to do them. Tech theft over there. It's only a 1 die, 6 or more. Yep. And tech theft from Germany. Germany or Britain? Germany. Nope. Okay. Card play by card play coverage, and I don't know another way to handle a game like this where you flip something up, do something mechanical, flip something up. There's no real easy narrative to come across in a broad sort of way, the way there is, say, in the other game I'm playing right now, the offensive à outrance. Perform one Soviet spy action with any spy or place an investment. I have to remember that, or place an investment in a country with a spy. Placing an investment is kind of cheaper, is kind of a better deal than using a spy. I think, for example, I can use it to get rid of an unrest. Like a spy action, an investment is at the same cost as a spy, as putting a new spy down. So, yeah, I'm gonna. Is there a tech that I could steal? No, and I think anything else is kind of iffy. I'll just remove that. I think that's a worthwhile action. Okay. Oh, I could do that with, well, I could roll to do that with a spy. There's a difference. Okay. And then the U.S. roll a die to see if they get a spy. And they get one in any democratic country worth 2 or more. Well, the UK has an active spy in it, which seems like a good place to drop one. No rolls. Soviet money. Oh, what am I trying to do? Boy. Top 3 investments. Because 1, 2, those I definitely want to do. And now I have a third investment in a place. And I can actually, there's nothing I can do there that's useful. What's that third investment going into? I could get rid of the unrest there. That doesn't do me much. Start building things up in East Germany. We want to get control of that again. roles that I could make? No. Spies. There are now spies that weren't around before. I am going to counter-spy that UK spy. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's in a democratic country. You can't do that. I'm going to try to thief at the tech that's next to me. Nope. And I got that spy. I can't do anything too exciting. Spies can't remove investments, I believe. See, I might want to use the spy there for something, but not much in mind. Second Berlin crisis, the wall. Soviet picked to build the wall, place an unrest in East Germany, reduce immigration, place Soviet investment in East Germany and one in any other country with a communist government. That sounds pretty good. Tolerate immigration, place a spy in West Germany, remove a workers' marker from the USSR if present. If not present, the US may remove 2 Soviet investment from communist governments. Well, totally, we want to build the wall. I mean, okay. An unrest in East Germany, which, you know, we don't own it yet, so who cares? And a Soviet investment in East Germany and one in any other country with a communist government. Any other. Let me just place this. I can't do anything with it, but the other Soviet government that we'd want to invest in, what would that be? I mean, clearly China, right? Iran. That gets us a point. Oh, but that's, you know, that's a freebie. That we can place with a 3 investment marker. Screw that. Yeah, let's put it in China. And of course this card goes away. Popular unrest. Both sides may place 1 unrest in any country, Soviets first. Look for coup opportunities, basically. That's the first thing. I don't see a whole lot of unrest in places that we terribly want to hit. Let's put a coup here in Sudan, and then for the U.S. In any country, you know, this is not cooing that doesn't seem as valuable as causing problems in countries that are more expensive to deal with. Why don't we get closer to a coup in Japan instead? And for the U.S., I mean, the Russian always seems like a viable option. I don't particularly need a coup in, you know, a coup in East Germany could change which way it goes. Let's do that. Oh, no, it's occupied. It's not going to change. So it's totally worthless. Foo. here it's hard to tell, do I have the advantage or not? It's kind of difficult. Moving to a coup in China, or towards a coup in China, might be worthwhile. An alternative, though, is we could get something like Vietnam under our control through the coup process, right? Influence is not the problem. Yeah. Why don't we create a coup in Vietnam? Now that is not a communist country. All right, time to look up my rule. The rule that is not under coups for occupied country. Immediately after a coup is rolled for, even out of sequence when it's not, into a communist and aligned country. Whoa. No, that's actually communist and aligned. What was my... Is there a reason? I can't remember. All right, I am leaving it alone. I don't remember what it's up. Okay, so we coup. 2d6, high die roll. We get a 6. Remove an opposing influence, or if not present. If the highest die roll was a 6, we redo step 1. So Vietnam has gone pro-U.S. This brings up an interesting point. I'll get to in a moment. Nothing to do with the game. Replace the current government with the coup winner's government unless it's occupied. It is not. We have just reached a victory progress. Set the country to 1 unrest, including occupied if present. That argument is that out of all the wars that the U.S. has been involved in in the 20th century, the best outcome in the long run was probably Vietnam. Just in terms of the least problems, the least threats having been generated from it, the least problems having been caused by it. The fact that we lost the war, or pulled out under bad circumstances, essentially, we've actually ended up with a positive relationship with Vietnam. It hadn't hurt anyone else. This assessment came from a fairly high-ranking general. I believe he was on the Joint Chiefs, actually. He gave a speech, and it was just this really kind of mind-blowing thinking that, like, World War I leads to World War II, so the victory in World War I is kind of fucked up no matter how you look at it for everybody. World War II led to the Cold War and just decades and decades of problems and caused so much disassociation. It did create NATO, and it did create the sort of hyperpower and whatever. But the only war that really didn't lead to consequences of any significant size was Vietnam. When you look at like the Korean War, we're still stationed there. When you look at World War II, we're still stationed in Germany and Japan. Well, what's the next one that's going to be a good war? Maybe Afghanistan. Who knows? All right. We kind of pulled out of Iraq after enough time, but the Middle East is just such a mess. All right, keep drawing. Decolonization, independence for Sudan and Nigeria. Remove occupation and unrest in both countries. Sudan and Nigeria. And that leaves Nigeria aligned, which is kind of cool. That card goes away. Technical revolution. Add 1 free success in industry. apricot. And again, I don't think this impacts anything to do with the computers or whatever that are already in existence. I think that only affects certain specific places where it's stated. Let me just check my spies again. I mean, I could shoot a Soviet spy. Yeah, why don't we try to shoot that Soviet spy in the UK? I don't know. It's used up, right? Let's hold. I'll hold. Research. Both players resolve one research action on turns 1 and 2. It's going to be 2 because we're on turn 3 or more. Let me put some thought into this. This card says a research action. To me, that means I'm doing the technological research off this possible actions chart. Again, it's not specified, but I think that's what's meant here. Since my 5-year plan is in industry, I'm going to place 2 here, push this forward, and I get 2 to 1 on computer cubes. I've placed 2 cubes on the board. I think that gives me an additional cube to place. What do I do with that additional cube? Well, first of all, I grab my black cube to mark that I get industry, and I get a progress. That additional cube, well, we don't necessarily want to catch up to stuff, so we're going to go to first satellite. But here's the problem. Let me leave these here. I only make it there on a 1. This is a hard task. I do not get a 1, so this falls back, and there's just 1 cube there. Okay. I think that's the Soviet picks. Let me go to the harder US picks. US was already at silicon transistors. 2 research gets me 4. What the hell do I want to do with 4? Yeah, this is kind of painful. What do I do with 4? I'll take the space missile launch, because that doesn't really cost me much, but even though I'm catching up to the Soviets, it still creates a tuck theft. And that's kind of the problem, is I'm going to be generating tuck thefts with what I do. This gets me piles more investments. It also gets me MIRVs without, I think, any requirement for anything else. That could change the nuclear balance, and that'd be kind of cool. Oh, see, yeah, I don't know. We kind of don't want to push the ICBMs because the Russians are getting hurt by the fact that we've got nukes in the Great Britain. And if they're not pushing them, we don't want to push them. So we'll play 2 for the satellite. That leaves me, I've got 1 left. I'm going to just leave it there for now. 2 for the satellite. A die roll of 1 gets me the level. Okay, we reach it. Which means we get a progress and an unrest in the enemy homeland. and a tech advance. A progress, an unrest in the enemy homeland, and another tech theft. I'm going to leave those there, although technically I probably should deploy it immediately because it might affect my decisions as to what I'm going to put anywhere else. This is just going to give me this huge jump. Let's start on the moon path, I guess. Okay. Now this tech theft gets rolled for. This can only be placed by die roll. And it doesn't show up. Alright, that's enough for a while. France and Israel nuclear bomb. This is turn 3, so it can only happen on a 6. And if it does, it'll generate nuclear weaponry in both countries. Now, close. Pretty sure I don't have any spy actions. Soviet worker shortage. Here it is, finally. Uh-oh. Remove one success from the industry or farming tech tracks. Ignore if a worker's marker is in the USSR, but if not, remove the marker. But if it is, remove the marker. I think this would be the prevents worker shortage. Workers. It's extra workers from the soldiers. But we lose a success from industry or farming. We'll take the loss off the farming. This is going to hurt our grain. But what's kind of cool about it is it makes it cheaper for us if we get a farming 5-year plan. The industry 5-year plan, well, that stays at about the same price, and the advantages are too good to give up. And this card goes away. I gotta look around for spies and light my pipe. Civil rights and freedom. Both sides must place one unrest in an unoccupied country. Must. Okay. And later in the game, it gets harder. Soviet selects first. An unoccupied country. What does unoccupied mean? It means without an occupation marker. Just looking. Not sure what I'm going to see. I don't think we've had a civil war yet. Not seeing a lot of Western unrest. Now, technically the U.S. is not occupied. I could drop it there. I don't know how much effect it has there, though. Really not seeing a place that I'm aching to put it in. Oh, a coup down in Africa in an occupied area doesn't do much. That much I've learned. Oh, occupied shit. Let's see if we can... Canada's probably pretty damn stable, I would guess. So I don't see much use there. So let's see what happens if we drop it into Mexico. But the other one... Did I have one? I swear I grabbed 2. There we go. The U.S. has more interesting ideas available. I could drop it in Russia. No question there. And there's not a lot of places that are occupied that are terribly interesting. The two cubes here, see, that worries me. That's like an anchor of something ugly that I might want to... Oh. Yeah, I can put it here, but a coup there doesn't necessarily help me. That's not pro-Soviet. That's occupied. It's hard to find interesting places. It really is. Oh, yeah, we'll drop it into Iran. I'm not really thrilled with what I'm seeing there, and I think a coup might help me. Oil money card. I don't have any requirements to use money for anything. 1, 2, 3. We're going to continue the fight over Turkey. Authoritarian unrest. Military export. I got no trading I can do, but I have money. Yeah. I think it's time to start going for a cube. If I'm going for a cube, I gotta place something somewhere else. Where? I got this stupid unrest here in Lithuania. I wish I'd pulled that off instead of being so fixated on Turkey. But that happens. That happens normally. All right. First thing, I don't know. Yeah. Let me do two influences. I'm allowed to do that. One will be in Turkey. I want to get that. I'm at +1 for investment. It's my own color government. That's +2. I do not get it, but it doesn't lose me anything other than the portion of the money card. I could do it again there. These are not forced like the investments are to be pre-programmed. Or I could try to change the government type down there. I think Turkey's more important because of the naval aspect, so I'll keep going. And no effect there. I am also going to go try to spy the... Yeah, that's expensive because I got the unrest there, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, we'll keep holding off on spies. Oh, military export. Did I get the oil out of there? That's removed. That's got to be regenerated every turn based on the oil production. You could leave one in there, but it'll confuse me if I do. Authoritarian unrest. Wow. Interesting. This is a new version of it. 2, it just stays. Civil War, first card. Yeah, I was right. U.S. may add a Civil War marker to any Civil War. This is a may, but no reason not to, because there is a Russian Civil War going on. I'm going to pause a little bit. All right, same crappy shit happening with my camera where it does something weird and I have to reset date and time or it won't record. But drew a money card for the U.S. I'm in a kind of weird position. My first impression is, hey, let's fight for Turkey some more, because that's the key thing. The Soviets actually have more money than me right now, though. They got one extra money card. Now I have debt. I could go into debt to face them. That's, a definite option. But, and let's see, what happens if we, We got this. We could go for one of these. Thought we got an intel somewhere. Guess not. A few things. Shit. A few things we could do technologically to change the balance a little bit. I'm still really worried. Ah, fuck. I'm worried. This MERV thing, MERVs that I produce without the MERV capability, is what disturbs me. Let me see if I can find anything on that, because I'm not sure that I can boost into that space. That would give me 3 free investments. Of course, I wouldn't waste those in Turkey, so that's kind of the issue there. That's problematic. I'm really, really worried about that naval advantage, but on the other hand, I'm also worried about the nuclear advantage, about Russia continuing to perform invasions of any kind. It's not like Russia doesn't have its problems. Let me look at that MERV thing, see what's up. The only place that it's mentioned is in the setup, where it tells you to put it there. And I guess here, maybe. Maybe in tech. Yeah. Not seeing it there. Well, right now we could cancel that out either with bunkers. Seems like a waste. Although it might be the solution. Or by sending just another bomber into play to cancel it. Why don't we do the latter? Because I do not like that positioning that we're looking at right now, and that causes a cancel out. Now, did that do anything else to me? Does moving that track do anything? I don't think so. I'm not thrilled because I'm forced to give the Russians an advantage, and I could throw some debt in. Kind of don't want to do that because of the potential of unrest in the U.S. The other factor is I've got this to still play, right? The influence role thing that I'd like to be getting into play, but can't do that in conjunction with doing anything with Turkey. All right, we are on the second Civil War card. That's gonna cause all the civil wars to go. We don't have a lot, just a couple. Angola, and still over there in the Ukraine. Making progress. The French are not, and that's not a good thing. Sino-Soviet split. Uh-oh. Mark China with the Chinese communism marker. Oh. There we go. I wonder what that does. China counts as an authoritarian for all purposes and cannot change government. Uh-oh. Well, China requires 3 unrests to cause a coup. We have one as an occupied nation. Chinese factories can be counted for progress if a power has full alignment. Okay, I'd need to get another cube in there to get that. This is weird. The Chinese-Soviet relationship falters, fundamental disagreements. I need to leave this out somewhere because that is a weird card. It gets removed from the deck. That fundamentally changes the way China is treated from every other country in the game. It's semi-authoritarian at this point. Deck is still big enough. I don't feel a real need to use my spies. Soviet oil. No oil trade marker. Let's roll the die, see what we're being asked. 4. We could increase Soviet oil production for $2 to move it to the 2 box. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to cycle it. That seems like too high a cost. If I get a 6, yeah, I'll do it for 1. But U.S. money again. Don't know. I am going to do my 3 investments. 1, 2. Put that back in. And what's the third one going to go in? Do I have anywhere where I'm aching to drop one? I'll get rid of it on rest. Mexico's still just a 1, yeah. Spies, because the deck's beginning to get little. It's not tiny, but if I had a lot of spies, I'd want to do it. Soviet money. Soviet money. Still pissed on the Turkey front. Do I think I can win the Turkey front? Maybe. One, 2. One more Soviet investment somewhere. Not seeing too many good choices. I'll drop 1 in here to get rid of that unrest. I don't like that. I'm feeling a little tightened on the spies. I'm going to do... remove an unrest, because what the hell. And I'm going to try to schwack could cause a coup in Japan if I'm lucky, if I create unrest. That is not a 0 or 1 target country. I'd need a 6. That's the same as I'd need to knock his spy out. On the other hand, I could try to place unrest in the U.S. I don't think that's as useful. I'll try to kill his spy. I do not. Another Soviet spy. I thought I had more of them kicking around, which is... oh yeah, I have this guy. Oh boy. Can I do anything to get rid of a trade, an interest, investment is the term in this game? Not really. I could create unrest in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how much that helps me, but it probably doesn't hurt me. Let's try to place unrest in Saudi Arabia. Nope. That should like off the spy. More Soviet money. Okay. Now we want to do things. We definitely want to do an influence here. I'll put a die there to remind me. And where else? Is there another place we want it to do an influence action? I think we wanted to do another one. But let's do this one, because if we fail, we want to do it again. So that's 1 die, +1 for an investment, +1 for my own color. we succeed. We get rid of our investment. We mark it with a red cube. That gets us the naval advantage there. So the balance goes down. And I think we had chosen two influence, so what do we want to do for our second influence? Is fully aligned with your influence. Yes, here they actually state with your influence. So that actually could be a help. But it's not really. Oh, that was actually a potential bonus. It was an or, so it's not that big a deal. What do I want to do with influence? Jeez, I wasn't counting on I was counting on failing, is I think what it comes down to. I would like to get a cube there, but I got no pluses on that, because that's not next to where I want to be. Let's do an influence in Germany, East Germany. That's +2, and that's it. That's a success. We only lose one investment cube for influence actions that succeed. And we get a progress. And we flip another card. Now it's US money. Jeez, I can't keep throwing money into Turkey. Where do I want to do an influence action? I want to do an influence action in Pakistan. My goal being to try to convert the color. I think so. That's a +1. Not a success. Spies, we're running low on spies. We want to do some. Let's try to shoot the spy in the US. I don't like that being there. Okay. And let's try to shoot the spy in the UK. I don't like him being there. All right. Soviet money. I'm going to pause. I need to light my pipe, and a lot of these high decision-making cards keep coming out. What I want to do 3 investments. 1 to get rid of that crap. Oh, that's an occupied. Son of a bitch. I can't just get rid of that. Shit. Okay. What do I want to do? Why have I not converted Yugoslavia? Why have I not converted all kinds of things? All right. I'm going to place an investment here to get rid of this unrest in Iraq. I'll place an investment in Turkey to get me a victory point. Or whatever. I got 1 more investment. What else? An investment in East Germany to get rid of the unrest. Navy arms race. The U.S. does not have an advantage any longer. We roll to see if I get a tech cube. They do not. We roll to see if the Soviets get a tech cube. They do. That brings us up to nuclear subs and moves the naval balance over to the Russians. Sweet. All right. Okay, I'm confused because I have not seen these cards. as far as I can tell, I'm on turn 4. Turn 4 cards should be in the deck, right? Nope, they're not. What happened? Did I run turn 2 twice? Did I fail to shuffle in the turn 3 cards the first time? Because this is the first time that I've seen NASA. I'm lost. I mean, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I think I must have not shuffled in the turn 3 cards or something. Jesus. Okay, U.S. uses this as $1 for space and or satellite research. Well, I have the computers, the good ones, so that I actually get... No. It's not a... it's... Oh, geez. It's for research. It's not a research activity. So, yeah. Do we keep going that way? Or do we go for stuff that's easier to get to? Geez, I don't know. I also don't know what this little circle is here. Can this be done again and again and again? Is that what they're saying? I don't know. No clue. It would make sense. This is, you know, the exploration of things like Mars and stuff like that. Yeah. Let's go for comms navigation, I guess. This can be done again and again, too, then. That's not explained that I understand, that I've seen in the rules. And this stays here. And I am really confused because I think I'm actually on turn 3 now. I think I've like fucked the world over. I know that I've loaded 3 up. I need to go see what's going on. But my assumption is I did the most unlikely thing, which was failed to add a deck on turn 2. I'm afraid that's exactly what happened. Not much I can do about it, except I rename my video. But yeah, and I reset the turn to turn 3, which means nobody could win this turn. But that's not going to happen anyway. Paranoia in Moscow. If the USSR is not behind on the nuclear balance track, out of progress. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. Are we behind on the nuclear balance chart? Well, why do I have that there? I would say no. The question is whether or not if a cube was in place ahead, would that do something? Like, let's say there was a blue cube here in ICBMs. Would I be behind then or not? It's not defined, right? This is a removal, so I add a progress. I guess that's on the nuclear balance track. That's kind of nice. De Gaulle. Is the French army fighting in a civil war or... Well, okay. Triggers if the French army is fighting in a civil war or on the next French coup. So I think this becomes kind of a stick around card or something. Place somewhere handy as a reminder. Place the de Gaulle counter in France. De Gaulle becomes the French... We gotta find the de Gaulle counter. Yeah, it is. Okay. De Gaulle becomes the French prime minister. Remove one influence in all unrest in France. That loses a point for the U.S. Placement of influence in France occurs on a 6 only while it's in play. It leaves power on the next coup or by the end of turn 6. I'm going to put that there. Maybe I'll remember it, maybe not. I mean, I got a counter there, right? That should help. I don't know what this counter is doing, sitting out there. Let me just make sure I don't have any spies kicking around because we're getting low in the deck. Soviet monies. All right, let's think a little. Things is, I feel like I should be able to figure out the nuclear balance and why it's at +1 for the U.S., and I don't know why. I don't have something that's clear for that. Did this add a nuclear balance? Maybe. I just don't know. And maybe I missed and should have put some other counter in place or something. But I'm just not seeing anything. That is kind of different from the other charts, though. There's effects to the balance that aren't obvious on the map. So I guess I just leave it where it is and hope that I haven't made an error. I'm still trying to figure out this Soviet money. What am I fucking doing? I've got my Turkey. That's what I was aiming for so heavily. What is it with China? I don't understand. Chinese factories can be countered for progress if a power has full alignment. Yeah, you know, I'm not too far from full alignment. So, do an influence there. Yeah, I'll do 2 influences. Let's do China first. I think that's probably my best. And we look, that's 1 die. I got an investment. I don't have my color. I'm not fully, even though Russia's right next door, fully aligned. I don't get anything. You know, the other, let's get Yugoslavia. Let's do that. That looks more palatable for the second influence. It's, well, maybe not, maybe not. Where was the other one that I was thinking of? Azerbaijan. Yeah, that's no better, really. That's further away. Okay. The only problem with that is it's a sickle and hammer. 4 or 5 for Yugoslavia, we get nothing. And we've got no spies to play with. U.S. money. Why did I click the button? Because now I'm going to have to think here. Okay, de Gaulle means France is really tough for me. And you know what? I didn't lose my 2 influence for losing the French, or my 2 progress for losing the French influence. So this is a strugglesome time, isn't it? For both sides. What do I want to do? I still have not used my reroll influences. We need to do something. And I probably did influences and didn't reroll because I'm that kind of idiot. So where did we want to try influence? Let's try one in Bangladesh. We'll do 2 influences. +1 for investment, +1 for my own color. We get a success in Bangladesh. Clears the influence, or the investment. And we got to do another one somewhere else. Not seeing a lot of places that I've got an investment. We'll do that second one down in Thailand. Get a +1. No. Use my containment strategy. We succeed. No spies. Molotov's offer. Ooh! You get an effect. This is interesting. There's 2 removes and an otherwise cycle down here. I don't know what that means. The Soviets offer Algeria to France in exchange for neutrality. If Algeria is in civil war, remove all U.S. influence from France. Remove, it is. Oh, you know, I guess the otherwise is for the Algeria, but that should be up here, not down here. I don't know if that gets corrected in between when these were produced. Remove all U.S. influence from France. Done. Remove any Soviet investment and spies. And add 1 U.S. investment and 1 spy in Algeria. Okay. Well, that's an interesting pile of stuff. This was a Russian activity. It goes away. And the U.S. has an outstanding spy and not a blue card, so they don't get to play it. Khrushchev thaw. Turn 3, this will cycle. That means we're going into the end turn for turn 3 again. Okay. He screwed up, but whatever. Ordering had some weird things here. I'm fucking up left and right here. I did the even up, then somehow I skipped down here. For one reason or another, I rolled the Russians. I'm not going to take any reform cubes for this turn to try to make up for the loss. There's only 1 happening this turn, that's fine. 5-year plan needs to be checked. 6, it's going to be land or air. I already rolled for a trade good with a 5. Here's the thing. This is actually when I could do the reroll, I guess. I'll do it now, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe I could have re-rolled it. Maybe I could re-roll after it's already out there. This time it's a 6, so it will be the tech trade 1 there. I guess I'll just keep going because if I don't follow it on camera, somehow I fuck up. Italy, France, or Australia gets a tech theft, and I believe the Russians get to choose. Italy, France, or Australia. I guess we'll drop it in France, although there's a spy there. We did the leadership change. I'm not adding any reform cubes. It would have only been 1. No reform takes place. Remove an embargo from the Western trade box, but there's still an embargo present. U.S. roll for president. A 6 and a 3. There's no unrest in the U.S. The U.S. is not losing the game. Well, it's not losing by full points. It's not losing in either way, I guess. This can't be counted, and I think it specifically says it can't be counted. So it's going to be an economy and an intervention. The U.S. is going to be able to launch an attack for no money, or may use own mod. I'm sorry, no, a +0, or it can use its own mod if it wishes. I don't know. And that'll cost $1 to do. The economy, according to the designer, has to be done now, so I'll push that up. No real reason not to. I could take some debt, or I could not. it's kind of nice to be right near that star so that I can decide whether or not, I'm close enough to try to win the game. Add another money to the U.S. debt chart. Okay, now we got to think. Flip all spies to unused. Kind of want to skip this because it's just a mechanical action and it sucks to cover something like this on camera. There's a lot of spies out there. Got to hunt them all down. Getting to be part of the clutter on the board. Unrest for nuclear within 2 of the homeland. The Russians are still impacted by that because we do not have our subs and the Brits have something. Discs on code breaking, none were there. Intelligence assessment, they're both at 1 still apparently. Tech cube for mainframe computer. I think both people get a tech cube. I'm going to assume the Soviets are first because I just do. Well, we want land air, yeah? We could just score that. That's theftable, though. So it's not a terrible thing to do. We could grab ICBMs. That'd be nice. I don't know. We don't really want to do that. Why don't we just do the thing we know we want to do? Make sure we don't make a mistake there. Well, because ICBMs were ahead on, technically. Okay, so we take ICBMs. That gives us some stuff. Find our force pool. I guess the nukes go in it. The ICBMs go in it. We haven't built them yet. Anything else there? +2 nuclear weapons. I think that does this, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It doesn't. So here's the thing. +2 nuclear weapons was up here. I think I may have screwed up here. Both people got it already though, so fuck it. So yeah, I think that's what they mean is the nuclear weapons. Not. Where's the other one? Somewhere it has nuclear balance. Somewhere, right? Is it on the Navy? Yeah, the Navy says +1 nuclear balance instead of nuclear weapons. So, okay. Unless nuclear weapons affect the nuclear balance, which they may. I don't think so. Okay. We haven't put the U.S. tech cube into play yet. If we want to keep our nuclear balance, I don't know what this is. -1 enemy SSBN. First of all, these are SLBMs. That may be a typo. And where is it removed from? Is it removed from strategic weapons? Is it removed? Yeah, I think it's removed from strategic weapons first, and then from pool. All right, we'll start building ICBMs as well because we don't have a trivial way to get it, and we're behind on that. That is important. take the discard pile and try not to make a mistake this time. Whoa! Okay, cards are... There's some cards that are weird here. I think they're just money cards, but I'm going to have to look through the deck and make sure something weird hasn't happened there. In terms of the cards, I thought I had them set up by turn. And the Soviet player can add oil cards to the deck. Well, we get one, because the price hasn't changed. And then we shuffle and start again. And so that is the actual end of turn 3. Now we're on turn 4 for real, I guess. Leadership is not exactly where we expect, but it should kind of pan out because we're only going to get 1 cube for reform. I think it'll work out. Okay. More or less. We had a little bit more time in a period when maybe the Soviet Union is not doing that poorly. But I think they're going to start facing more structural problems as the game goes on. I'm not sure. Not sure. This is the turn where they got an extra money. Right there. But they've got other problems too. All right, so up it goes.